Look, one of the most important things we do as digital entrepreneurs is create content, and it needs to be good. It also needs to be engaging, have a purpose, have a call to action, and all the things. And that can be really, really time consuming if you don't have a system in place to do this effectively. So today I want to give you some tips and tricks that I use to manage multiple social media platforms on my own and make that content good in less time. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the winning team. I'm Nakisha if you're new around here, and today I'm going to be getting into some content creation hacks. The first thing you need to be doing is planning. Yeah, I know that seems a bit obvious, but you need to be planning your content at least 30 days in advance, because when you're planning your content right, you're going to be looking at factors such as holidays that may be coming up, industry events, things that are happening in your life, things that the people around you may be thinking of in the next 30 days. So you need to have these things at the top of your mind and be able to put them out in time enough for them to take your content and implement it for that intended purpose. For example, one of my favorite times of year is going to be coming up, and I know that people are going to be thinking about things like spring cleaning, spring fashion, spring crafts, and anything that is going to be happening in the month of March and April, right? So I am going to take the time to plan the content that I'm going to do. And I'm not only planning my content by writing down the type of things that I want to post. I prepare by purchasing my props and my fashions and all the things that I need. You don't have to do all the things on all the platforms in order to grow your business. I like to tell people to choose one long form content platform and then one social media platform to complement that. That's it. You don't have to be everywhere. I know you see your favorites and they're on all the places, but when you're just starting, or you know you only have a certain capacity to create so much, it's fine for you to master one platform at a time. And then to break it down and keep it even more simple, create only specific types of content. If you know that creating transitions and cuts and doing all these effects that people are doing is just not your thing, keep it simple. Next, use your analytics and recreate your top performing posts. Listen, there is so much gold in our analytics, but I know sometimes it can be intimidating to read or just don't make you feel so good when things aren't going the way you want it to. But there is information in there to help you create the things that your audience wants to see. So for example, if you have a post on Instagram that's doing really, really well, think of a way you can create it again in a new content format. So maybe that was just a carousel. Maybe you turn that into a reel. Or for instance, you have a post on your blog that's performing well. How can you take that and turn that into a reel, for example? This is how you repurpose your content. It's not by taking one thing and posting it over and over and over again. It's by taking the same concepts and the things that you speak about on your platform and doing them in different ways. Then you want to find and document some inspiration. Listen, oftentimes we get in a place where we feel like we don't know what to post, or we're in a content slump, but there are people online that inspire you. There's content that inspires you. You have to use that as inspiration. Instagram has this feature where you can save content, and you can save it in particular folders that maybe you name it inspiration. And when you're feeling like you don't know what to post, go back through that content and see if something sticks out to you. Because if you saved it, it evoked an emotion in you, and more than likely it will evoke an emotion out of someone else as well. Now, we're not taking people's content. We're being inspired by their content to recreate it in our own way. Something I love to do for my content, especially when I'm planning to shoot photos or video, is create a Pinterest board around that topic. So since we're planning spring right now, I have a board that's dedicated to spring content. I save things like outfit inspo, color choices, poses. It could be a ton of things, but I have a board that's specifically dedicated for each shoot or each content set that I'm going to do, so that if I'm on location on a shoot or I'm getting ready to film some videos, I can simply pull up Pinterest, go to that board and scroll through to see the type of things that I want to create for that specific content. Now that it's time to create the content, the first thing you want to do is choose a location to create your content that makes sense for your brand. For example, I chose this white building with green leaves going all up. It's so beautiful because it makes sense for my brand and all of the neutral tones that I use on social media and on my website. So when you're choosing a location for you, consider your colors, consider your brand, who you're trying to reach, and what you're trying to convey. So for instance, I create business content, right? Content that are for creators. I choose a location to film these videos in front of my desk, in front of a computer. When I'm out in the field creating content, I may choose to go to a coffee shop because that makes sense for an entrepreneur. So make sure you're considering your location, because the location is going to help you in telling the story that you're trying to convey to your viewers. Then your outfit selection should make sense for your brand as well. Again, we're considering our brand colors, the brand vibe, the brand messaging. All of those things should be considered when you're choosing the outfits that you're going to wear inside of your content. As I create this piece of content for you today, I chose this beautiful free assembly cardigan from Walmart. Why? Because it's really beautiful on camera. Cardigans are usually related to the office because it's so cold in offices and they try to freeze us out of the building and we need them to go over our clothing. But it can also be styled over jeans, over dresses, over bathing suits in the summer. So a really versatile piece that I can use in my brand over and over again. So when you're choosing your outfits, I want you to think about who you're trying to reach, what message you're trying to convey, and what style will help you do that. The next hack is you want to make sure you're getting multiple shots of the same piece of content. So for instance, if you're out and about and you're taking photos, you want to make sure you have your phone set up to get some behind the scenes content for your Instagram stories, because those can also be turned into reels. Then you want to turn that phone the landscape way so that you're getting some behind the scenes for your videos on YouTube. You just want to make sure you're getting different shots. The goal here is to capture the same situation in multiple ways. And you want to consider this in the planning phase. So if you're doing a shoot, you want to write down that, okay, we're going to get something for a reel and we're going to get something for the vlog that week. So you got to make sure that's in the plan so that you don't forget. When you pull it up when you're on the shoot, it's easy for you to remember. The next thing you want to do is batch create your content. That simply means if you sit down to create one YouTube video, you be prepared to record 3. That will help you to stay more consistent because you're not worried about having to create this content on such a regular basis because you've recorded so much in one sitting. And another thing that I like to do is create similar content at one time. So if today we're doing YouTube videos, we're doing YouTube videos. And then when we're doing photos, we're doing photos. This helps me to just be in that zone of whatever I'm creating at that time instead of switching. Oh, let's take a photo. Let's take a video. No, for me, it's hard for me to switch back and forth like that. So I like to stay in the zone of that particular content that I'm creating. And now it's time for us to post our content. Listen, if you're still posting in real time, you're doing yourself a disservice. You want to use scheduling tools to get your content out. If you're a busy mom and entrepreneur like me, you don't often have time to post in real time. So you want to use an app to go ahead and schedule out your content to post at those peak times where you may not be available. And then you want to document instead of create. One thing about content is that it doesn't have to be complex, and you can keep it simple like we talked about before. Simply documenting your day, simply documenting a process that you're doing can go so much further than doing this big elaborative setup or, trying to create content in a sense. Simply share your worlds with people. People really do appreciate the authenticity that are in vlogs or that are in videos, and where you're just sharing yourself, sharing your process, and just sharing what you love with people. So those are my 10 content creation hacks. Is there something that I missed or something that has been working well for you that I need to know? Leave it down in the comments below and help a sister out. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video.